Hi everyone, it's Viktor speaking, and I'm here today with Sweti, and we are going to discuss how to lose a man in 10 days with astrology. So, of course, we need to accept the fact that we all have got our good and bad characteristics. But being aware of them, we might be able to transform them into something better. And, for instance, again, because I really like doing career consultations, but I usually say when you've got a karmic duty to fulfill or when you've got something which you're not really good at, you just need to jump on that horse and ride it and try to get better at it. It's like a little bit of a Saturn that, oh, whatever Saturn is in your chart, they're going to give me limitation. That's true. But if you work hard in that department, then you're going to get plenty of reward as well. So exactly the same in the relationships as well. You're going to have to try to, override those negative characteristics and figure out why you act in the way you act in. So, oh, by the way, I would like to make an announcement. I'm making a webinar on Saturn return and a little bit of a Saturn transit as well. It's going to be on the 19th of July and something like £39, $39 if I'm not mistaken. And it's going to be a good 4-hour webinar. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. How are you doing, Sweti?
Hi, Victor. I'm doing great. Thank you. Just looking forward to the recording we make now because, we're going to focus a little bit on the negative side of science, what can make you actually lose it. And not only how to lose a man, but also how to lose a woman. Because we actually all have all signs in our chart, and one day or another, any of the signs can get activated and we can start losing it somehow. So it's always good to know also, the negative manifestations of some of them so that you can be aware and just, it's going to be easier to manage, I think.
I do believe that when it comes to relationship, the sun, the ascendant, and the moon sign count the most. So whatever we are trying to describe today, have a look at all those 3 signs, because probably you can learn from this. So, Swati, have you ever lost someone in 10 days?
Well, not really.
Not really.
I've been with the same man for like 25 years.
Yes, because Sweti is one of those lucky ones who meet with someone at school and then they are still like, 2 birds. Okay, so what do you think about Aries? What are their bad characteristics?
Well, for Aries, I think that the best way to lose somebody is show their impatience and aggressiveness towards them, like being so impatient for the relationship to develop. They're like on the second date and they're already thinking about, so far away. They need to ride the wave somehow and to be all the time active, all the time something happening so that they keep their interest alive. And enthusiasm comes and goes very fast. So it can be a deal breaker, I think, sometimes, because it can overwhelm the partner and not give them the chance to also show their sides, what they expect. And also they're very competitive. They can become, a competition with the partner, who's better in doing that, who's better in doing the other one. So it's it can be a deal breaker, I think.
Yes, Aries is definitely very impatient. Probably their favorite word is me and now, because they tend to demand things. They want that attention. They want to become the best at everything they do. They don't necessarily think situations through. They tend to be hurry things. and then they can arrive at a decision too quickly, and then later on they might regret it. So yes, definitely they have to learn, to be more patient. I do believe that Aries is a little bit childlike as well.
Yeah.
They can get a little bit aggressive when things are not working out their ways.
Yeah.
No wonder why Aries rules the head, because they can be very headstrong as well.
Yeah.
Not to mention that being short-tempered and jealousy as well. As soon as they don't get that little attention, what they think they deserve, then, they become very jealous. Aries often possess like this strong and powerful character, even becoming very dominant in the relationship. And sometimes it might lead to even physical or mental abuse as well. Now,
Yeah.
also have a look at your seventh house cusp as well. Of course, that might be describing what type of partners you attract in. Because Aries is a competitive sign, they become overachievers. So they are go-getters, they are very driven to achieve something, and then sometimes they forget about their partners.
Yeah. Just like trying to be on top all the time, not letting others also rise. And it's important for them to assert their own opinion all the time. And that's why a little bit, maybe not a little bit, but they're argumentative, and they're like quarrelsome. And they only hold on to their own truth. They don't have the patience to listen to the other.
That's
Maybe they
right.
will accept it if they listen, but they don't give them the time to listen. It's
That's
important for them
right.
to just slow down a bit and listen.
It's a tad difficult for them to handle criticism, So if you want to lose an Aries, just start criticizing their look, their behavior, and they're gonna run away within seconds anyway. How do you feel about Taurus?
Well, Taurus is the neck of the head. So if we're talking about relationships, it will be important for a Taurus. They are very stubborn and they hate changes. So if you want to lose a Taurus, make them change all the time. Make a plan and then reschedule it 2 minutes before things need to happen. And this will drive them crazy. They really need to stick to their schedule, to their plan. Their earth, this is an earth element, and it moves so slow. It takes ages to move. They hate it. They're very resentment. They have resentment to it. And also, Taurus is focused on the material. They can be overindulgent, and this can be a real priority. So take away the food, bring them to a rubbish restaurant where they eat, I don't know, something that's not for the senses, something rotten, and then you will surely have a minus in their eyes for sure. And if you do it quite often, then you will lose them for sure. And they like to have their stuff around. So if you take their stuff away from them, for example, it will make them feel really insecure, I think. And and if you also make them spend too much on you,
Oh
then this
yeah.
will be a deal breaker. They're very much focused on the material, which of course has its reasons. But when we talk about relationships, I think they will need to somehow overcome this counting the coins all the time.
Yeah, Taurus is pretty much the sign who forms attachment to people as well as people and objects. So if you want to get rid of a Taurus, probably just dig up their room, find a couple of memories, start doing a spring clean in their rooms, and they're gonna start running because they need all the things they collect. Taurus is very good at collecting things, and it's a very stubborn sign as well. So you can't really explain to them that you don't need it. Somehow, every single piece of their collection serves their comfort, and so on. Yes. As you said, stop cooking. But also, Taurus is very lazy as well. So you might want to take them to the gym, or you might want to organize a program every single day. After a while, it's going to be way too much for them. Taurus is extremely inflexible. So, for instance, you want to go to the opera, Taurus wants to, go to the cinema. It's quite hard to get them to do what you want. But they are very sensitive as well. I mean, they can be very closed off. They can be very protective, but they are very sensitive people. When the wrong things are said, they can easily get hurt. They might not show it because, if you think about it, Taurus, like the animal, right? Then it's a huge, a stubborn animal. So they're not gonna let go of their, they're not gonna show their emotions. Taurus is also very cautious energy. So they never take unnecessary risks. So you might want to take them to jumping out of an airplane and so forth if you want to get rid of them, because that's something, that's too risky for them.
Yeah, and one more thing that comes up to my mind, Taurus will, even if they get hurt, they will never show it immediately, but they will be piling up for some time. And then when they burst out, it will be like a volcano. It will just be like hugely. Or if they suppress their anger and their hurt, they might get sick as well. It always comes to the body. So,
right.
Yeah.
How is Gemini?
Ooh, Gemini. Gemini, you should cut off their communication in terms of taking away their phone, forbidding them to see their friends, to chat on the phone, because communication is of utmost importance for a Gemini. And if you take away this stuff from them, they will be really, really nervous.
Or
And
just check their phones, check their text messages.
Yeah.
They get annoyed by that easily.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're like a social butterfly. You cannot take away the social life from them. If you do it, they will just dump you.
It's quite hard to work with Geminis because they are very unpredictable. It really depends on their mood, how they will react to certain situations. They've got mood swings going on, so sometimes, and on the other hand, Gemini is the most curious sign of all. So you can't really organize a program which they might not be interested in. But probably do boring things. They don't like those. They always need excitement and variety. They are very intellectual. So as you said, take away their phones. It's like taking away a little girl's doll, or taking away the banana from the monkeys. So that's how they could be acting on that.
Yeah.
Also, they could be very superficial because they don't really like going into deep things. For them, it's all about gaining the information, gathering the information, and then after sharing that. Make them embarrassed by telling them a gossip which is not even true, and it makes them obvious. It makes it obvious that it was them who spread it. Probably from embarrassment, they're gonna also run away.
Yeah, and I was also thinking about this schedule, which is a monotonous repeating. Also, if you offer them lots of different things, you have to be ready. If you want to be with a Gemini, you have to be ready that they might change their mind in the very last minute, because today you talk to one person, tomorrow you talk to another one. And
Yeah.
today this person liked this activity, and tomorrow, 5 minutes before it takes off, they change their mind and they want to do something else, and they're already on another wave. So it's important, to keep the schedule flexible, not only, different, but also flexible.
It's quite hard to find a fully committed Gemini as well. Of course, they are the most curious of all, and therefore they always want something new. So commitment is extremely difficult for them. So even if you want to get rid of a Gemini and you don't know how, just arrange a situation where they can be flirtatious, and then at least you've got an excuse. And they can really be emotionally detached as well. And that's pretty true for every single air sign. But they like playing this unreachable and very independent type of energy.
True.
How is Cancer?
Cancer is deeply emotional. They're very vulnerable. You can even hurt them without you even imagined that something you said or you did could have hurt anyone. Though they're very emotional, and they feel really, they're moody and grumpy a lot. So this is a good way for them to lose a guy, or a woman in 10 days, and they're somehow very dependent on the environment. They want to feel safe, they want to feel at home. So creating, a home which is always open to friends coming in and going out, not having their own space where they feel their environment is safe, and they're the way they want it, because it's a cardinal sign. They will want to have it their own way, and they will require you to make them happy. They are somehow, not really, they feel that others need to make them happy. So if you are not able to make them happy, and when they're moody, if you're not able to boost them up, then this will be a hard time. They're kind a bit depressive even at times. So you need to allow them to have their own moods, to give them space. And if you want to lose them in 10 days, just anytime a Cancer is grumpy, tell them, you're so grumpy, I can't stand it. Uh, you know, uh, get better, be a bit more, energetic, and so on. Or, I don't like what you cooked, it's awful. I don't like your mom and your family, they're awful. If they're very attached to family, and they're very emotional when it comes to family, to the roots. And this can be really the best way to lose them, is to hate their family and to tell them, bad stuff about them. And Cancers can be really passive aggressive. They can, pile up the hurt for ages. And it's like they remember things from some 20 years ago, and then they just
Yeah,
pile it up.
Cancer tends to live in the past, isn't it?
Very unforgiving sometimes, especially if you touch their family of origin. And they're very protective of everything they have, especially of the past. So the best way to lose them is to conquer this, to challenge this.
Cancer tends to be too cautious as well, and sometimes timid also. So getting Cancer out of their comfort zone is one of the ways how you can make them feel, of course, uncomfortable. Because Cancer needs emotional stability and security. So they need to feel safe. That's why their sanctuary is their home. So they run home, and sleep in the bed, and then they eat when they feel very down, or as you said, they are very moody as well. They tend to become too over emotional, and but in a way, you know what? I would say that Cancer is pretty unpredictable also. So because they change in their moods, like it's like the weather. It's like the British weather actually. You know, one moment it's sunny and shining, and the next moment it's raining cats and dogs. So Cancer can be very unpredictable. Um, yes, they could be very anxious. They could be very pessimistic as well. So you might just need to keep telling them that, you know, be a little bit more positive. Uh, um, think about the future and don't live in the past. You
Mm.
know, if you try to trigger those for them, then they might leave within 10 days.
Yeah,
They
and
can be
also,
very clingy as well.
mm,
So, you know, if you don't allow those cuddles, which they need, because they need plenty of emotional
yes.
support, probably Cancer is one of the neediest sign of all. You know, then it's completely discouraging them, and then probably they feel, oh, this date is not for me.
Yes, absolutely. And it's like I have a moon in Cancer and I can relate so much to it, for good or worse. But it's like Cancers need others to sense their needs. They want the others to feel them somehow, to read their mind, what they need and what they want in every second. And if this doesn't happen quite often, then yeah, for sure. And the hugging, absolutely. They need lots of hugs, really.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Cancer is overly emotional, and that's the beauty of that sign.
Yeah,
So how about Leo?
my favorite. I love them. So I come to love them more and more, by the way. This is not irony. The more I know them, I mean.
Good.
So the best way to lose a Leo is to tell them they're just one of the crowd. They don't stand out. Their talent is nothing special. What they can and the way they look, and it's nothing special. You know, it's just yeah, like everybody else. They don't have any special qualities. They don't bring love. They're not funny, and yeah, their Leos are great individualists, and they really need this support from others so they can spread the love they have, because yeah, this is the way. It's a two-way relationship. You know, they get from you and you get from them as well, but they can be really reckless sometimes, that's true. And selfish. Yeah, and Leos have um, the quality sometimes to belittle the value of others so that they can feel higher. And if you stand up for yourself and don't allow this, um, then this will be a clash, a deal breaker. You will not be able to be with a Leo. And yeah, and maybe Leos are in this sense also quite jealous of everybody else's success. So if you are more successful, more beautiful, if you are a couple and your friend circle sees you more and wants to communicate with you more, if you take over being the heart of the company, then you will lose the Leo. Leo needs to stand out. Leo needs to be acknowledged as something really special. As the sun, you know, it's the king. Leo needs to be the king. And if you deny this role, then you're losing them.
Exactly. You know what? Give cheap presents to Leo
Oh boy.
because they've got an extreme pride. So
Yeah.
obviously Leo was born to be admired.
Mm.
Prove them that they are not the best. They're just the second best. They're gonna run away because they need to become the best at everything what they do. You know, they are very self-centered. My best friend is a double Leo. I call her as an attention seeker because you know, she always feels itchiness in her body to you know, and it drives me nuts. I have to tell her that, like, please, can you not cut in someone's words? I'm talking. But Leo needs to gain that, that attention, because that's when they feel good. But they are very, very warm-hearted as well, and therefore they can become very possessive also. Yeah, as you said, make them somehow unspecial, hurt their pride, take away their glory, and then you are on the way of losing them.
Yeah.
Start criticizing their look, or just but when they sleep, shave their hair off. They are very proud of their hair. They love hairstyles. So, it's easy. And as you said, Leo needs to somehow stand out. So whatever they think they stand out with, that somehow needs to be ridiculed,
Yeah.
because Leo hates being ridiculed. How
Yeah.
about Virgo?
Oh, Virgo. Well, Virgos, we all know they're so critical and self-critical. Tell them that they did something and it's not perfect, or criticize them for something, and then you lose them. It's really, they have a hard time to accept critics, and or tell them to, to break the rules. They don't like breaking the rules. They feel anxious when they do it, and they can be really, or just, what can make a Virgo crazy. Just do lots of things without any quality. Pay attention to the quantity. Just put a check mark, be superficial, just do it for the check mark, but don't pay attention how you do it, and then you lose them for sure. And I think this is really important for Virgo. They can become really nervous and yeah, too rigid as well. Have a
Yeah,
hard time, yeah,
because
to
they are all about an analytical mind. They are all about getting lost in details. But they can be so fussy as well. So I've had a double Virgo partner. Well, since then I don't even talk to Virgos when it comes to relationship. However, it's my seventh house cusp. But anyway, putting the jokes aside, if I did not put down the pencil, for instance, on the table, then I was screamed at. Like, Victor, can you not see it has got its own place? So I always thought that Virgo was, all about cleanliness and so forth. And yeah, they are very hygienic, so you
oh
can you
yeah.
can lose them easily if there is no hygiene, because they are the ones who the bed sheet needs to be changed, after certain occasions and so forth. But yeah, create a little bit of a chaos for them. Start misplacing things. They're not gonna like that, surely.
Yes, that absolutely. And they somehow have a hard time to prioritize. Everything is important. Everything needs to be done to the very nitty gritty detail. If you miss something, that's a mistake already, and that's not perfect, and that doesn't count. And yeah, and with hygiene, yes. And also with, maybe for stronger Virgos, also the way you take your body. I mean, the food you eat and the healthy habits you have or you don't have, and your daily schedule. It has to be somehow in line with a more healthy lifestyle. If you are overindulgent, a Virgo might not be able to swallow it somehow. They, yeah, they might have a hard time to accept this. Somebody harming their body in such a way, alcohol, uh, drugs or smoking, or this will be really, repelling for a Virgo.
A Virgo is one of the signs which is prone towards vegetarian things,
Mm.
a vegetarian lifestyle. So by accident, you can forget about it and then take the person to a grill bar,
Oh yeah.
where there is only meat and meat, they're going to get very annoyed and they stay hungry as well. Also,
Mm.
Virgo is very conservative. They've got values, they've got principles. They don't necessarily like kissing on the street and all these type of things. So maybe you want to be, you know, a little bit like that, and then Virgo is going to run away.
Yeah.
How is Libra?
Well, these delicate, soft people who would like to please everyone, just, you know, they seem to be losing themselves in others. They don't have like firm boundaries, and they are really hesitant, indecisive, and can be very superficial. It's an air sign as well, not so emotional. So very much on the superficial relationship level. When it comes to getting deeper in the relationship, they can get scared really. So yeah, like start doing things, start running through the relationship and become too close to them too fast, it can scare them away, because yeah, they will not be able to take it. And also tell them they're not delicate, they're rude, you know, tell them they're not diplomatic, they don't have any manners, they're not beautiful. They tell them, I wonder what a Libra you are. You somehow, you have no harmony within you. You have no idea how to dress. Your hair looks awful, and things like that. And this will definitely scare them away.
You know, there is. I've got a client and a Libra sun and the Libra rising. And then I said to him the other day, I was like, oh, so you go to the gym just to have plenty of mirror around you? Because Libra loves mirror. And I was like, you don't really go there to do much exercise, do you? Just need to flex yourself. And he was like, now it makes sense why I don't have any muscles at all. Because he goes to the gym 5 times a week, but it's not, you can't really see it, he says. And it's because they like, you know, looking into the mirror, like a little bit of a peacock type of feeling, you know. But probably the weakest part of Libra is the indecisiveness. So get them into situations where they're gonna have to make decisions. You know, that's gonna frustrate them a lot. Yeah, as you said, they can be very quiet and shy and introvert as well, and they are not so good at performing under pressure because they've got this hesitant nature. So pressurize them, rush them, and then they're gonna make mistakes. And obviously, the people-pleasing side of them won't be able to be fulfilled. So you know, it can really get them out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, true.
Great. What about Scorpio?
Oh, Scorpio. Scorpio is so controlling and so jealous that if you only show one sign of looking towards somebody else, they will get mad. And it can even be, you know, not on purpose, by accident, you looking somewhere else, you know. And they're, you know, fixed water. And when they focus onto something, they have a hard time to let it go. So you really need to be careful how you behave, because anything you do might become their focus, and then you will be like seeing their side of their dark side, so to say. And they are very hidden also. So if you expose them to the public, take them with you everywhere around, lots of social life all the time, you know, this can be really hard time for them. And or maybe you can lose them by not agreeing to have sex with them because they're, you know, all about sex as well. So yeah, it can be, or deny them the control they want to exert. You know, when they tell you don't go there, you do whatever you want. you go, you're independent, you don't want to have anything to do with them. They have a hard time to trust others. And also, they're very loyal, very, very loyal to an extreme. And they somehow expect this from the partner, to be very loyal to the extreme. But when the partner is an Aquarius, let's say, then it's not possible, because Aquarians understand loyalty in another way, like giving the freedom to the other to do whatever they want. But the Scorpio will never give you freedom. So ask for freedom, do whatever you want to do. Don't ask the Scorpio about their plans. Just meet with thousands of people all the time, make them jealous. And then, I think it's hard to lose a Scorpio, because they're very fixed. And
very stubborn.
Yeah, very stubborn. They somehow fall into extremes. And even if you if you play tricks, not tricks, but if you try to lose them, this might even get them more stuck on you. So I don't know how you can lose a Scorpio in real.
Well, you know what? I think you're just gonna have to feed their suspicion. Of course, we're talking about the most suspicious sign of all, the most sign who has the trust issues. It's easy to make them jealous. Immediately, they're going to start doing some investigation. You need to shake their core self up, like that they cannot control situations. They cannot dominate certain situations, because they need that. We're talking about the most manipulative sign as well. Dig up their dirt and secrets. We're talking about the most secretive sign of all. Remember, Scorpio is all about extremes. Scorpio is all about all or nothing. So either I'm in 100% or I'm withdrawn. So as soon as they feel a little bit of a hesitance, for instance, in the relationship, actually they might go. But they've got this, yes, as I agree with you, like they can be very unstoppable, but they are very obsessive as well.
Obsessive, yes. Very. And they can be also very destructive, self-destructive as well. I can imagine a Scorpio doing crazy things in order to keep you,
Oh, yeah.
So stubborn. It's like, they bite, and they have a hard time to let go. Even if they see it self-destructive, the relationship, and it's doing no good for both partners, this loyalty I was talking about, it goes to extreme. Even, they can feel it very unloyal to leave the partner. And as a deep motivation, behind why they would stay within a harmful relationship as well. But they can, very easily go to the other extreme, and they can become destructive to the relationship and to the partner as well, manipulating through the feelings, through, so many methods we know. Yeah, so quite addictive as well. They can addict to the partner, so it's really hard to.
So how about the know-it-all sign, Sagittarius?
Yeah, you said it so well in 2 words, know-it-all. So the best way to lose them is to restrict their freedom to move from one place to another, and to have activities which will be like even extreme at some point, to not to allow them to study, to learn, to mix with people, so that they can like figure out their own philosophy. They're extreme idealists and maximalists. So maybe at one point just tell them their life theory is absolutely bullshit. And Sagittarius can be very sarcastic to others, even to the extent of being rude, I think. And maybe if you return that back to them, this will be painful at times. And if you try to talk them over, to talk more than they do, this will be a clash as well. And if you tell them just to, okay, you talk, I don't care about what you say, it's not so important, it's not valuable, I don't care about your theories, just go on, then yeah, it will be a hard time for a Sagittarius, and they might make their minds not to relate to you at all, and they won't have a hard time to leave you like the Scorpio, they will just move on because they're fire, and they will really, they're
And mutable as
mutable
well.
fire. Yeah,
Yeah.
so they will just move on. They're not so deeply related on an emotional level to others, and if you restrict them in some way, then they will just not stand it. Yeah, they
You
will
know,
stand.
Sagittarius is the smarty pants of the zodiac. So just shake the core of their knowledge,
Oh
and then
yeah.
when they feel belittled, they're gonna run away. Yeah, they can get bored very easily. It's a sign who doesn't necessarily want to get pinned down in a relationship. It's not the most committed sign, surely. Um, and therefore, you don't need to do much to get them away from you.
Yeah.
You know, shake them up in the core of their self-confidence, because Sagittarius can be overly confident
Hmm.
as well.
Yeah, and
Okay.
try to manipulate them emotionally. Tell them, please don't go there and there. I need you here. Please stay with me. Make me it's not gonna work with the Sagittarians because the key word for them is freedom. They just want to be free. And yeah, as you said, they are not very keen on relationships anyway. So trying to pin them down somewhere to have a family, it has to be something which is very you need to be moving around. This will be important for a Sagittarius. They're like collecting cultures, countries, so it's important for them to have this freedom, you know. Okay.
How about Capricorn?
Well, as much as Sagittarius are for freedom and on the move, Capricorn is such a stable sign. They're all about rules, all about work, all about being ambitious to achieve something slowly and steadily. So if you take away from them their if you tell them all the time, you work all the time, you don't pay attention to me, if you're clingy about this, work is the most important for them. They need to achieve that social status. So or if you humiliate them and somehow harm their image in front of others, this will be really a deal breaker for them. They will not be able to stand it. And or Capricorn, they have a hard time to have fun. So if you like drag them from party to party, they will not feel so well, not so much in their own waters. So they will, they might stand it because of you, because they can stand a lot. But yeah, at some point, it will be too much. And
They are very shy and
yes.
reserved, and the most conservative and conventional sign we're talking about. So one of the downfall with Capricorn is that they are attached to their past as well. So Capricorn's first sentence they learn, especially the rising sign, is that, oh, I don't want to be my life. I don't want to be like my dad. And
Mhm.
another favorite word for Capricorn is no. So they are very detached as well. They can be a little bit arrogant. That's and they don't like spontaneous things either. So it's all about the calculated moves.
Yeah.
Risk taking, a huge no to it. We
Mm.
need to go on the tested roads first.
Yes.
So you might want to take them to, you might want to shake them up in their core of, I don't know, packing the bag and then going on a road trip on a Friday morning. And they are like, oh, I can't do that. I've got responsibilities. And what will the boss say? So forcing them to get out of their comfort zone is one of the best ways to get rid of them.
Yeah, and especially also because Capricorn, they're very much about spending as much as needed, but not too much. So if you somehow push them into spending too much on things that are indulgent but not needed, then this can also be hard for them to accept. They need to, to have their money placed where they feel they need, but not spending too much on things.
That's right.
Mm.
How about Aquarius?
Well, Aquarius is also all about independence, but in another way, not as the Sagittarius. Sagittarius loves to move, and Aquarius loves to have freedom, to have ideas, because it's an air sign, to have their own ideas and to have their emotional detachment. They are like, you cannot expect from an Aquarius to be cuddling, and, they just want their own space. And physical space. They don't want to be touched a lot. It's like they just want their space to be their own space. So if you invade it in some way and don't give them the freedom to do what they want whenever they want it, if once they have an idea, to just follow it, or if you require to be emotionally involved too much on a daily level, to tell you every day they love you, well, to tell you it's okay, but to show you somehow, if it's very difficult for them. They're very futuristic as well, so it's a hard time for them to be here and now. And you know yeah, it can be challenging for them to open their heart to others. So if you somehow require for them to show you love all the time, and to be really having fun all the time, also, then it's gonna be hard for them. They rationalize the emotions, but they have a hard time to feel them. So if you expect this kind of a relationship with an Aquarius, it's gonna be hard. Yeah, they need their own space.
Yeah. Aquarius people are the thinkers. So they are all about intelligence. So you can actually, try to take that away from them. And then they might become very distant immediately. They tend to live a lot in their own heads. As you said, they are non-emotional at all, and they are like very extreme. And I don't necessarily like when they say that, because I'm an Aquarius sun. I don't like when they say that we are not really emotional. Aquarius people often have hidden feelings. They might not be really emotional, but they because it's a coldish energy, so they're not gonna show. They are like a little bit of an ice princess type of energy. So they can seem to be cold. Yeah, they could be very impulsive. They are very quick to judge others. So judge them as well, and then they don't like it. They are not really good at taking critiques either.
Yeah, they will rebel against you. They're very rebellious, and they're very somehow quirky even. If you tell them they're just conventional, this is their greatest fear, maybe, to tell them they're conventional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Pisces.
Pisces. Okay, here I come. This is my son. So
am I right?
Yeah, Pisces are very emotional. They're very sensitive to the environment around them, and they can act. They somehow seem to be moving among being the savior, the aggressor, or the victim. So one of these three roles. And whenever they play the role, if you somehow tell them, then yeah, they will not be able to play their game, so to say, and yeah, you will not be able to be with them in that case, because this will deprive them of their methods to achieve, to tap into the unknown, to, to escape the real world, and to receive maybe some empathy, using this triangle. So and they need it a lot, they really need it, so that, because reality is hard for them, they need to have some, they're escapists, you know um, living an illusion, but are at the same time they're very vulnerable. They, yeah, I think this is a main point for Pisces. And also they're very artistic. Just try to make them be very down to earth, very realistic, focus on goals, and not having any time for spilling out the emotions boiling up within them. Then yeah, they're gonna leave.
I think to lose Pisces is quite hard as well,
Yes.
actually, because they always avoid confrontations. They don't like conflictive, they don't like conflicts and arguments. They are very indecisive as well. So to make them leave a relationship is not really easy. And anyway, they're gonna start dreaming. Oh, this is what exactly XY said. They said I'm beautiful. You tell them they are ugly, and then they mishear it because they tend to be living in a bubble. Of course, Pisces has got a very low self-esteem, but hurting them that way would kind of kill them. They need privacy all the time, so you might want to bring some people around quite often, especially when they want to sleep, and then we still party downstairs. Pisces could go a little bit crazy because of that.
Yes.
And yes, as you said, they are oversensitive. I mean, you just have to make them cry, but they might still stick around though.
Yes, because they somehow become, they find themselves often in codependent relationships. They have a hard time
right.
They need a partner to tell them who they are somehow, and they become the partner. They are merging with the partner often. So once you merged with someone, it's so difficult to leave them, no matter how hard or if this person is right for you or not.
Exactly.
So, and they somehow seem to see the victim within them. So if they come into a relationship which is very unhealthy for them, they will be thinking probably, okay, this is karma, maybe I need to stay here,
Yeah, the self-sacrifice inside of us.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. You said it beautifully, but it's so hard,
Yes, I know. Well, thank you very much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did so, then just press like and subscribe as well to the channel. And more importantly, let us know how you get rid of someone in 10 days. Of course, this video was meant to be talking about some of the, shadow side of our signs. So knowing them and working with them is extremely crucial, especially in relationships, because a relationship is all about learning about each other's differences and then trying to maintain those characteristics the best possible way. Thank you very much, Sweti.
Thank
And
you.
it was a pleasure, and we might do, the 10 best characteristics of each sign as well.
Yeah, why not? I will feel much better, I'm sure. Yeah, I will
Take
need
care,
this.
everyone, and have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.